Hello guys, I'm talking to you from this side because yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elle, as you all know. Today's video is my 2016 versus my 2021 makeup. Obviously I feel like this has been like a trend on TikTok. I've loved seeing everyone's, but I thought I'd do mine in a YouTube video where I'm talking about it as well. Because I tried to use some of the products that I used back in 2016 as well, and then like the products that I use now in 2021, and this is the difference. This is my 2016 side, this is my 2021 side. I just want to put this out there before we jump into the video, even though I feel like I mention it loads of times in the video as well. I'm not saying that this side is bad and that if you do your makeup like this then you are bad at makeup or anything like that. I'm not saying that whatsoever. Everyone has got different opinions of makeup, everyone likes different things. That is completely fine. I used to do this back in 2016 and I loved it back then. Now I don't really like it as much. It's not bad, I just don't think it suits my face as much compared to the side that I do now, which is my 2021. This is what I tend to do now with my makeup. It's personal preference. Some of you might watch the video and agree and prefer the 2021 side. Some of you might watch the video and prefer the 2016 side, and that is completely fine. There's no rules to makeup. Do whatever you like, whatever you feel comfortable with. Everyone is different and trends change all the time. Your opinion changes all the time. I look back at pictures of my makeup from like even before 2016 and I'm like, oh my god, what on earth was I doing? But it was in back then and I liked it back then, and that's all that matters. I will probably come like 5 years time, look back at the makeup I'm doing now and be like, oh my god, what was I doing? That's the thing about trends, they change all the time. Everyone's got a different opinion, that's okay. So now that I've got that out of the way, if you want to see how I created my 2016 versus my 2021 makeup, keep on watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you click the subscription button down below. And if you do like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up as well. But that's it from me for now. So I hope you enjoy the video. Whenever I've seen people do this trend on TikTok, they do kind of just start by drawing a white line down the centre of the face to show the difference. So there we go. Sorry, it's not the straightest of lines. I don't have a ruler to hand, but you know. Oh, I'm kind of scared. Right, okay, so I think the best way to do this is to do, like, start off, what I would usually start off with, do like the brows and then the eyes, and then you get me, but sort of do like the 2016 versus the 2021. So like the 2016 brow, the 2021 brow, the 2016 eye, the 2021 eye. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. So let's start with the 2016 side, which is this side. So I'm just going to take a spoolie and brush the hairs up to start off with. Back in 2016, I used to use the eyebrow pencil from MAC in the shade Strut. So here we go. God, I've not done this in so long. By the way, guys, just because I'm doing this like side by side 2021, like what I do now versus what I did in 2016, not in any way saying that what I was doing in 2016 looks bad or was wrong. Everyone's got a preference. If you prefer this side at the end, if this is the kind of makeup you do, that's completely fine. Everybody is different. This is what I used to love back in 2016, but I'm just not really a fan of it myself anymore, and that's okay. You don't have to like the exact same thing you did back then, and it's okay if I don't like what you like, if that makes sense, and it's okay if you don't like what I like, that's fine. So this is not me saying that this is wrong or this is the like a not nice way to do makeup or whatever. It's just me saying this is what I used to do in 2016 that I liked back then versus what I do now in 2021 that I like now. Definitely did the like the Instagram brow back in 2016, you know, that sort of very structured but also faded kind of looking brow, you know. Back in 2016 I actually did use the MAC False Lash Maximizer still, but I just didn't use it necessarily the exact same. I did used to brush the brow hairs up. I actually even did this so they weren't sticking up out of place. Can you believe that that's what I used to do compared to what I do now? So that was my 2016 brow versus my 2021 brow, which I just use the MAC False Lash Maximizer. I brush this through the brows like so. I just use my finger to press the brows up and into the skin. And that's how I do my brows now. So very, very, very different. Also a lot quicker on this side, might I just add. A lot lot quicker. That's such a huge difference. I feel like I definitely do prefer fluffy brows, but I feel like fluffy, like soap laminated brows, whatever you want to call them, are like they're a bit like Marmite. You either love them or you hate them. I love them, but everyone's different. So we're going to do the eyes now. So I'll do my 2016 eye, and then after I've done that eye, then I'll do the 2021 eye. So back in 2016, which was before P. Louise released her base, I used to use Soft Ochre from MAC, which is one of their paint pots. I know a lot of people use the Select Cover Up Concealer from MAC, which is what P. Louise was using at the time, but I just couldn't get on with it. I wasn't really a big fan, so I actually used this, and this is going to break my heart because I do not use this anymore. But I obviously did do a very similar thing. I did carve underneath the brow with it. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually, this feels awful on my eyes. Like, it just does not look good. I cannot believe I used to use this. The other thing I used to do back then was I actually used to set, I cannot believe I did this either, I used to set the primer on my eye with powder. This seriously makes me want to cry. But I used to do that, so I've just used the water weight powder and a peaches and cream brush to do that. I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This is what it's looking like. This was clearly very well loved back then. And I definitely didn't do dark to light on my eyeshadow then. I did light to dark. So I'm going to start off with the shade Burnt Orange, which is this one right here. And I'm just going to put this right in the crease. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but I cannot believe I did this as an eye base. This is just not cute. Not cute. Okay, next I'm going to go in with the shade, I think it's Realga. I don't know how you pronounce that. This one here, the like darker orangey colour. I'm just going to use a slightly smaller brush and get this in my crease. This as an eye primer is making me want to cry. Like, it looks so patchy. I cannot believe I used to use it. Ugh. Okay, and then finally I'm going to take the shade Cypress Umber, which is the brown shade right here, and this is just going to go all over the lid. Also back then I was a big fan of the shimmery brow bone, and I used to use, is it Primavera? I don't know, this shade down here. So I'm going to go in with this on the brow bone. Can you remember when everyone used to use the shade Nylon from MAC on the brow bone? Because I remember I used to do that. I did also used to put this on my inner corner as well. Don't get me wrong, I do still love an inner corner and a brow bone highlight, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to do underneath my eye now. I'm going to go in with Feline in my waterline. I still use dark pencil liners in my waterline now. I do still think it looks nice. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this. But yeah, I used to do this back then. And then the primer needs to go underneath the eye again as well. The Soft Ochre again, because this is what I used to use. And then obviously using those same eyeshadows underneath the eye. I'm sorry, but I genuinely cannot believe how patchy that eyeshadow is over the top of the Soft Ochre instead of like my normal base. I cannot believe I used to use that. Before I put false lashes on, I'm going to do my 2021 eye, and then I'll do the false lashes, and then I can move on to the skin. So in 2021, we're using the P. Louise base. Yes, it's broke. I obviously did apply the bases in a very similar way, in the sense of carving out the brow and then applying it all over the eye area, but the difference in the base is, it's astronomical, okay? The difference in the base is ridiculous. For the eyes, I'm going to be using the Cash Beauty Crystal Nights palette. You guys, I held that upside down then, I'm so sorry. The Cash Beauty Crystal Nights palette, that's the right way around. As you guys know, I am an affiliate for Cash Beauty, so if you do want to purchase anything from Cash Beauty, my link is in the description box down below. If you shop through that link, I do make a small commission, but you know, help a gal out, you know. I'm going to start off with the lightest shade in the palette, which is the shade Haze, which is this one right here, and I'm just going to dust some of this in the crease to start off with. I mean, if I was doing a more dramatic eye, I always go in with the darkest shade first. I feel like for this kind of trend, I'm doing it based on the makeup I would do if I was going out somewhere. Like if I was going out for a night out or going out in the day and I was doing my makeup, I'm doing it based on that versus the crazy makeup I do for Instagram. Notice that I also I don't set my primer anymore. I cannot believe I used to do that back in 2016, but yeah, I did. Do not set the eye primer with a powder. Not a fan of that. Just start bringing this into the lash line. I'm now going to go in with the darkest shade in the palette, which is the shade Enchant. It's right here, it's really dark brown. I'm going to go in with a pencil brush and I'm going to start concentrating this on the outer portion of the lash line. My voice started going then, sorry guys. Outer portion of the lash line. And I'm going to take some of this eyeshadow and I'm just going to start taking it into the crease slightly. And I'm going to switch to a slightly bigger brush, but obviously not as big as the first brush that we used. And I'm going to go in with the middle brown shade here, which is called Dusk. And I'm going to start putting this in my crease to blend that darker shade in. I'm now just going to take the matte in the matte. I've been using matte shades on this eye all the time. I'm going to use the lightest shade in the palette, which is called Moonlight, and this is going to be going all over the lid. How we're looking so far. I don't know if you've noticed as well, but the shades as well. So how many times did I say as well then? I don't know if you've noticed, but the shades that I use now versus what I used back then are a lot more neutral. They're not as like orange tone. Don't get me wrong, I still love using some orange shades every so often, but generally speaking, I go for more neutral shades now. So I'm just going to pop the base underneath the eye. Okay, the other thing as well I like to do now is have a nude coloured waterline, so I'm just going to take some of the P. Louise paint in the shade Blank Canvas. I'm just going to pop this in my waterline. I'm just using the same brush that I was using the primer on because I can't bother to get another brush out. And then I'm now just going to be using those same shades we've been using just to do the lower lash line. I also don't really take the dark all the way in. If you can see, I've taken it about just past halfway. I mean, I don't know if you can see already without even getting the lashes on. Again, there's nothing wrong with if you prefer this side. If this is your style of makeup, that's completely fine. I'm just talking from personal preference. You can see this eye looks a lot more open and wider than this one. This one looks a bit more closed, and you can see the difference, can't you? Let's be honest. So I'm just going to pop it on some mascara and some false lashes, and then I'll come back and do my skin. I'll obviously be using two different pairs of lashes as well, so I'll talk about them as well. I've got my lashes on. Before I move on to skin, I'm just going to talk about the lashes. I feel like a lot of people that have been doing this trend did more of a dramatic lash for the 2016 makeup and a half lash for the 2021 makeup, which, yeah, that was the trend then versus now. That's probably what people did then versus now. For me though, I didn't. Back then I did used to wear something a little bit more natural. Back then I used to wear the MAC 48 lashes, I think that's what they were called. I don't have those lashes anymore, obviously. I've not bought them in years, so I just tried to use a pair that was the most similar that I owned instead. So they are the red cherry lashes in the style Harmony. It look like this, so this is what I've currently got on, and these were very, very kindly gifted to me as well from a company called We Love Lashes that sell loads of different eyelash brands on their website, so go check them out because they sell some amazing brands and amazing lashes. The lashes I absolutely still love the 48s from MAC, but I just don't buy them anymore. This is the obviously different, but this is the most similar that I had in that kind of style. So this is what I've gone for. And then 2021, I do wear a much fuller lash. I do tend to like something that is sort of quite thick, not necessarily really long, but just I like a lot of volume, and it is obviously longer on the outer corner than in the inner corner. These are the style Jasmine from Doll Beauty. These are literally my favorite lashes at the moment. I absolutely love them. It's time to move on to skin, so we'll do primer, then yeah, you get me. I'm just going to do the same kind of thing that I did on my brows and my eyes, but for the skin. So back in 2016, I used to use MAC Strobe Cream all the time. Still love this product. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just showing difference of what I did then versus now. I do still use this sometimes, just not all the time. I am running out of it as well. But I used to use this all of the time back then. So let's get some of this on. This one is the shade Peach Light. Back then I used to go, well, obviously at first I used to always use the pink one because that's all they had at the time. And then when they brought out all the other colours, I switched between Peach Light and Gold Light. They were my favourites. Now I tend to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. Absolutely love this product. They're both really nice products, but they're just different. Strobe Cream actually is not a primer, it is just a moisturiser. This, but I use it as a primer. I guess you could say the same about the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base though. It's not really, it's a bit of a both. It's like a 2-in-1. It's like a moisturiser and a primer in one. So back in 2016, I used to always use MAC Studio Fix. I think I've pretty much run out of this as well, and this is in the shade NC15. I definitely used to go with a very light shade back then. I'm going to see if I can get some out. I'm just going to hope that I've got enough out, I don't know. But back then, I mean, I used to use this quite a lot. I went with something more matte, which is not ideal for my skin type because I've got dry skin, but hey ho. Foundation application was very, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I just use a buffing brush and just buff it into the skin. And I still like full coverage. I liked full coverage then, I like full coverage now. It's more the finish of the foundation that's changed and the shade for definite. The thing that I did back then, which I definitely do not do now, is I used to take my foundation right up to my under eye, like around my eyeshadow. Definitely do not do that now. Nowadays I tend to use the Nars Natural Radiant foundation instead, so let's do that on this side. The colour is very different. I used to go really pale back then for some reason. And as I say in all of my videos, I no longer take it right up to my eye area. I leave that for my concealer. Obviously you still want to get the side of the nose. Something that I didn't do back in 2016 but I do now is I contour my nose, and I use the Makeup Revolution Fast Base foundation stick to do that. So that's what I'm going to do on just one side of my nose. And just blend this out. So now I'm going to do concealer. So I used to use Pro Longwear concealer from MAC back then, but I don't have it anymore. I've completely run out. But I did also used to use the Mineralized Concealer from MAC sometimes as well. So we're going to do that. And I pretty much used to do this triangle thing that everyone did underneath my eye. Used to get a lot on there. On the chin, the centre of the forehead as well. Before I blend it out, I'll show you what I do now. So I use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. So I'm just going to do a little dot on my chin, some on my forehead. I do some down the side of my nose to help with the contouring of the nose. And underneath my eye, do not do the triangle anymore. These shades are very similar, to be fair. And then let's just try and blend this out underneath my eye, because I used to use a lot. I can't believe how much concealer I used underneath my eye back then. The triangle underneath the eye is not it anymore. It's not it. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush just to be able to blend that out around the eyeshadow, because I did do this back then anyway. I'm going to use the smaller brush to blend out the concealer on the side of the nose and also underneath the eye. So another thing that I used to do back in 2016 that I don't do now is I used to powder my entire face. So I'm going to powder that side. Just using the water weight powder. I don't think this was out back then. I think I used one of the mineralized powders from MAC, but this will do. So we're going to go straight onto bronzer. I used to use one of the MAC Mineralized Skin Finishers in the shade Give Me Sun. Now I do love the MAC Mineralized Skin Finishers. I think they're amazing. But let's be honest, who am I kidding myself? This shade was way too dark and way too orange for the shade of foundation that I was using. But this is what I used. It's it did actually smash. If you're wondering why it looks like that, I have to put it all back. I have to press it back together. But yeah. Apply my bronzer. I didn't do any on my jawline like I do now, and I did much more of like an all over bronzer as well because I didn't use blusher back then. And then the forehead. Now I go in with the shade Chaos from XX Revolution. I absolutely love this. So I'm just gonna bronze this side of my scalp, and I tend to, whereas this is so like all over the place, I do not do that anymore. I keep it a bit more, how do I explain it, what I mean by it, but like more of a contour rather than a bronze. Like I don't know how to explain what I mean. I make my cheekbone pop more rather than doing such an all over bronzing effect. But what I'm trying to say basically is I do more of a lifting effect. So if you can see this kind of, so obviously it angles down, but it's a bit more straight than this, which is a lot more downwards, if that makes sense. I also now bronze up my jawline. And then I still do my hairline as normal too. So the thing I do differently now with my bronzer as well is I just bring it more sort of onto the temple here, the side of the eye, and it makes the eye look a lot more smoky. Okay, so back in 2016, I did not use blush whatsoever. What was wrong with me? I used to love blush on other people, but I used to not like it on myself. I don't know why, I just didn't like it on myself. It didn't look nice, but now I absolutely love blush and I use it all the time. So I'm going to use the shade Viva La Vacay from Doll Beauty, which looks like this. And I'm just going to apply that over the top of my bronzer. Again, I think the reason I probably didn't like it back in 2016 is if I had tried it, I kind of put it more on the apples of my cheeks and it made everything look droopy. Whereas now I sort of put it here above the bronzer instead and blend it backwards. And I feel like it gives a nicer like lift to the face. Back in 2016, I used to use Soft and Gentle from MAC pretty much all of the time. Let's just apply this. I pretty much applied it parallel with the bronzer. Put it on my chin. Used to put it over the brow bone and on the nose. Compared to 2021, where I'm using the Doll Beauty duo, I'm using the shade Shine Bright, which is the dark one in the palette. Sorry, I'm using this one. And you do apply it in a very similar area. So I do with the cheekbones, but I don't bring it down as far. I used to bring it down like right down here, whereas I don't really do that anymore. So back in 2016, I used to use Spice pretty much all of the time. Now I use a Doll Beauty Diva Forever. I love the Doll Beauty lip pencils. Back in 2016, I used to use the, this is like another, I do still love this shade. I used to use the shade Modesty from MAC like all the time. And now I tend to use just a lighter lipstick. I've been loving Myth recently. And then the other thing is I tend to wear a gloss now as well. This is the shade Instafamous from Doll Beauty. So what do we think, guys? We've got the 2021 side versus the 2016 side. What do we think? Which side do you prefer? I definitely prefer the 2021 side over the 2016 side. But that's just me. I actually had so much filming this, even if I do look really weird now. Just fun to see the 2016 versus the 2021 version of me, essentially. But yeah, like I said, it was really fun to film, even if I do look a bit strange now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed seeing the way that I did my makeup then versus now. Again, like I said before, this does not mean that this is the wrong way to do your makeup and that this looks bad. If this is your preference, that's completely fine. Everyone is different. When I did my makeup like this in 2016, I absolutely loved it. Now, I don't necessarily think it looks bad, but I'm not a fan personally. I definitely prefer this side of my face with the 2021 makeup on, but everybody's completely different, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with this side. It's just personal preference. There's no rules to makeup, guys. There's no rules. Do what you like, do what you want. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below if you've tried out this trend, if you've done your 2016 versus 2021 comparison, side by side, whatever you want to call it. Also, let me know in the comment section down below which side you prefer. Do you prefer the do you prefer the 2016 or do you prefer the 2021? Let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, that is all for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.